Why can't we all get along? Yeah, why we fuss and fight? Tonight we fight tonight. Listen, Marshall and Rupert. What you say?
Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hope you all are doing fine. We made it to the end of another week. Do a little chair dancing with me. Make sure you drop a note, say hello, let me know how your week's been. How you doing? All right. Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's your girl Esha here. Hope you are doing well. Let me just get myself set up here. Make sure that I can hear and see any comments. Hope you guys are doing well. I am a little delayed today, my goodness. As you can see, I am outside, decided to try something different. I just wasn't feeling the indoor setup today, so I'm outdoors and it's gloriously nice and warm. It's 81 degrees here in Durham, North Carolina. So here I am. Here I am. Hope you guys enjoyed that soca music. That was Real Unity from Machel Montano and Drupati, the chutney queen herself. That song is a real oldie but a goodie. Early 2000s, don't remember the exact year, probably 2001 or 2002. I was just getting started into the Carnivalista lifestyle. That was probably my third or fourth Trinidad carnival at that point, and now I am at 23, so that was a long time ago. Let's just put it that way. Hope you guys like that song. If you wanted to look it up, Real Unity, Machel Montano and Drupati, and the lyrics of that song were really speaking to me today, especially in light of the civil rights protests that are going on here in the US. That song was really just talking about unity and bringing different cultures and races and people together to live as one. So I was definitely feeling the lyrics from that song today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So as I said, drop me a comment, say hello, say what's up, say how things are going. How has your week been? We made it to the end of another week, guys. Yay, us. So yeah, let me know how your week is going. Did you have any wins this week? Did you have any epiphanies this week? What has gone well for you? Let us celebrate and uplift and talk to each other. So yeah, just drop me a comment. Let me know. I see Tanti Ermi. Hi, you're watching. Hope you're doing well. Anybody else drop a note, say hello. So what am I talking about this week? And you guys know I have my notes over here and it's not cooperating right now. I swear everything is, I don't know if something's in retrograde. If somebody knows if something's in retrograde, let me know, because my notes are not cooperating. Okay, it's working now. All right, so as I said, drop a note, say hello, tell me what's up. And I do want to start things on a bit more of a somber note this week. From a family perspective, things have been challenging for myself and for my oldest sister. Her stepdad is actually in ICU, and he went there recently, less than 24 hours ago. So I really, first of all, want to ask for your prayers and your positive thoughts to Uncle Monty, just that he takes a turn for the better and gets better. And definitely please send your prayers. Would love if you guys could send your prayers to support him, because it is a very, very, very dire situation right now. And yeah, would really like you guys to pray for him. So that's the first thing. One thing that I can definitely note about him, he, and which is why I'm, you know, getting emotional, he has always been so kind and welcoming to myself, Tarek, my husband, and to little Kwame. He has always been so welcoming and kind to all of us. He is a very, very kind man, and he has always been so loving to us. So please send some love, send some prayers to him. I really, really want you guys to support him spiritually and energetically, and hopefully he can have a turn for the better and have a full recovery. So, all right, got that emotional piece out of the way without breaking down into tears. So, all right, what I did want to talk to you guys about today. And if you're on my mailing list, thank you for joining me online to talk about this, because I have been reading stories shared by people in my socials, on social media friends, and even people in my own personal circle who have been deeply affected not only by what's been going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and all of the civil protests that have been going on here in the US and around the world in support of people living in the US or in support of their causes worldwide. Um, I have been called to share my own personal stories, and I want to give up. Oh, things are falling, guys. There's a lot of wind. Well, that's not good. Okay. I don't think anything else is falling, so we're going to keep going. Yeah, just giving my own personal reflections and incidents that have happened to me that have been racist in nature. And I've been called to share that. So I've never talked about this publicly. I've probably had one or two personal conversations with friends, people who I know, if it happened to me in the moment and I've talked about it. But outside of talking about it on a public platform like this, or even to people on my mailing list over the years, I haven't really done that. So this is new for me. This is new sharing. I encourage you to share your stories as well as I talk through this. If that's something that's happened to you, give a thumbs up or yes, this has happened to me. Or if you'd like to share a little bit deeper, feel free to do so. My hope to share this is not to start a anger party, okay, in terms of, oh yeah, this was done to me and I'm so angry about it. For me personally, any racist incidents that have happened that have made me shift my energy in a negative way, I have worked through that and forgiven whoever needed to be forgiven, and really just used it to strengthen myself, to be more resilient, and to move forward and be a better person in spite of it. And that's what I encourage any of you to do the same. People of color, we go through these are experiences that happen. And I heard it somewhere today. Someone was saying, racist incidents can happen and to you personally, and they can shift your energy negatively. And I really like how that person phrased it. And I remembered it, thankfully, so that I could mention that to you all today. So if you are in a space where your energy has been shifted and affected negatively, I encourage you to be resilient and reshift that energy in a positive way. And that's not necessarily letting the person off the hook or anything like that. That's for you. That forgiveness is for you. That work is for you to shift your energy in a positive manner and use that in a positive manner towards your life and to serve your communities better and to affect change. Because, all of this conversation and everything that we're having right now, the protests that are happening, are for nothing if it is not to affect change, right? That's really what we want. We want things to be different. We want things to be better. And we want everyone to be treated as human beings, to be treated as people who inhabit this earth in a positive way with positive energy and positive vibes. So yes, that's my spiel, getting off the soapbox now. All right. So let me also say, as I talk about this, and if I talk about incidents and these are enlightening for you, like you had no idea that this was happening to others, in 2020, yeah, we're in 2020 talking about this. Have empathy, not sympathy, but have empathy, empathize. You may not entirely understand, you may not entirely get it, but have empathy as, people around you who are Black or who are of African heritage. talk through these kind of experiences and relive the emotions and, you know, have them again, have empathy. That really is the best that you can do. Okay. All right. So the first story I'm going to share is actually one that happened when I was a child in Trinidad. Some of you may or may not know, I grew up in Trinidad and spent quite a big portion of my childhood there. And they were very formative years for me from the ages of about 7 to 11. Um, and yeah, it happened to me as I was a child. I believe I was 10 or 11 years old because I had actually just started attending high school. So high school and schools in general in Trinidad follow the English system. So, you know, you do 5 years, 5 standards, what they're called, of elementary school, as it's called in the Western, in US and Canada, and then you start in high school. And I was just in my first year of high school. And in Trinidad and in many parts of the Caribbean still, uniforms are a requirement of going to school. So I actually had on my high school uniform, and uniforms in much of the Caribbean are very distinctive. They're a different color or a different pattern to your uniform. And my uniform for the school that I went to at that time was for St. Augustine Girls High School. And it is and was a very prestigious high school. So diplomats who were doing exchange programs in Trinidad sent their daughters there. It was an all-girls school, by the way. The well-to-do families, you know, sent their daughters there. So that being said, Trinidad is also a classist society. You know, a lot of things are divided along class lines and along color lines that are very, very tightly intertwined. So the population at my high school, there were very, very few Black people, very few people who looked like me. There were mostly people of East Indian heritage, with some whites sprinkled in. So I was a minority at that high school. And actually for the first time in my life, my Trinidadian life, I was a minority in that school. And I didn't really think much of it, to be honest. I didn't experience racism or anything like that at the school. We were all treated the same as students, in terms of the education that was given to us, which was of the highest quality and all that was. So it was a good high school to go to in Trinidad. So the particular racist incident actually happened when I was going after school. You know, I took transit or whatever to get to my mom's work because she worked for the bank, which was a good job, you know, in Trinidad at that time. And I had actually walked into the bank, which was the norm, you know, and said hello to everybody. And, you know, it's like, hey, mom. And you kind of went through the side into the back and kind of waited for her to finish working. And as I was making my way, my mom was at the counter and she was serving a customer who happened to be a man of East Indian heritage. And he saw my uniform and recognized immediately that I was with this school. And he commented to my mom, because of course he saw me, I said hi to my mom. He knew that was my mother. And he proceeded to say to her, so you must be married to an Indian man. You know, how did your daughter get into that school? So needless to say, my mother was very upset. She needed to be excused from serving the man at the counter because she wanted to give him some cuss words, as they say in Trinidad, because what he said was blatantly racist. You know, like, how could you presume that for me to go to this really good high school that my mother had to be married to an Indian man, or, you know, my father had to be an Indian or something like that? It was just really, really close-minded. Anyway, long story short, somebody else had to serve this man, okay, at the bank, and my mother had to go to the back before she lost her job, because really some unsavory conduct would have taken place. So that's one story that I have had, and that was in Trinidad. That was in the Caribbean, you know. So these protests and things that are happening in the US right now, they are not isolated. There are several areas around the world with people of African heritage who are experiencing racism like this, things that shift your energy negatively. So it's not in a bubble. You know, there are some places that are more extreme than others. There are some places that are more subtle than others, you know, but they still have the same effect on your life. They shift your energy negatively. So that's one story. And I will share one more. And this one is a hair story, okay, which is really, really interesting. So I had really just started my professional career. I was finishing up my sociology degree at York University in Toronto. Anybody from York, hello, hello. Or anybody from Toronto watching, definitely say hi, give me some love. Um, I was in my last year of school, and concurrently I was working part-time with a hospital in their accounting department. And I formed this relationship. Well, I formed friendships and relationships with everybody in the department, honestly. The lady who got me the job was a really good friend of my dad's, and she has passed away since, but she actually got me the job, you know, knew that I was looking for employment while finishing up school, and she thought it would be a good fit. And yeah, honestly, gave her the resume, and she really got me the job, and bless her in heaven, wherever she is now. But I made friends with everybody in the department, and one of the people in the department was an accounting supervisor. I still remember his name. He was Jim. And Jim and I were good buddies, you know. So every once in a while, I'd have work from him, you know. So I would do different projects and stuff, and we had a really great working relationship. And um, he was always a bubbly kind of personality, you know, like a bubbly personality. We had such a good relationship that he did confide in me that he was gay. And, you know, we would talk about his partner and his relationship and all, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, casually over work. So I guess Jim felt that we had that good of a relationship that he felt the need to ask me about my hair that given day. And for those of you who kind of know me in that period, so this was 1997 to I was there until 2001 at the hospital. You probably knew that I was transitioning from having hair that was relaxed. So those of you who don't know what relaxed means, it means that your natural hair is chemically treated to be straight. So I had chemically treated hair for a very long time, all through my teenagehood into my early 20s. And during those years, I was transitioning. So I was growing out my beautiful natural hair, which I grew to love and love myself more at that time. And growing out the chemically treated hair, because the only way to get rid of what's chemically treated, if you do your hair that way, is to cut it. So I had just finished transitioning, and I had about probably 3 inches of growth, 2 or 3 inches of new natural growth. And I had actually done the big chop, cut off all the permed hair, chemically relaxed hair at that point. And I was rocking my little baby fro, you know, that's what I had at that point. So I think it was probably like 2 days later or something after I'd done the big chop. And any of you who have gone through that experience, you know, it can be a very strange space to be in, you know, because as with any major change that you do, whether it's to your appearance or to your life, it's something that you have to get used to, and you have to sit with it. You know, you have to sit with it. So that's what I was doing the first 2 days. The first day I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so short. It was the first time I'd ever had short hair. So it was, you know, okay, I think it looks good. I like it. Okay, I'm good. And then day 2, go to work. Here's Jim. So I went into his office. I must have been giving him work or some project I was working on. And he looked at me and he's like, you know what, I've been meaning to ask you, what's going on with your hair? Seriously? And as I said, I think he thought that we were friends, and, you know, I don't think he meant anything bad by it. But again, it's the incident that shifts your energy, right? And when he said that, I just felt this, something just dropped in my stomach, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So I looked at him and I said, what do you mean? It was interesting how I was able to kind of recover that. But I said, what do you mean, Jim? Explain what you mean. He's like, well, I noticed, you know, you've been trying something new, and I wasn't sure how to ask, but I like it. It looks nice, but I was just wondering what's going on with your hair. And I'm like, okay. So I said, okay, I understand what you mean right now. And I said, well, this is my natural hair, just to educate you a little bit. This is my natural hair. This is what naturally grows out of my skull. And what was on my hair before was actually chemically treated. So, you know, I talked him through it and stuff, but still feeling really, my energy shifted, let's just put it that way, and not in a positive way, you know. But instead of getting angry and escalating the situation further, I tried to, diffuse the situation and explain, because he really didn't know any better. And I got that. And we had a frank and honest conversation about it at that point. So those are just two of many incidents that I have had that were of a racist nature, that were, shifted my energy negatively throughout my life, that I felt called to share today, and kind of share that. Hopefully it enlightens you, shifts your perspective, gives you a different perspective, perhaps, about things that you did not know, and opens the space for conversation. So feel free to leave any comments about anything. I see a few comments here. Let's say hi to some people. So Camille Roberts, thank you for your prayers. Mwah. Kisses to you. Thank you so much. Hey, Dad. Dad, hi. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Miss Sabria. Hi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're doing well, my dear. Mark from Barbados. Hope you're doing wonderful. Ms. Regine, kisses to you, love. Hope you and the girls are doing well. I miss you guys. And I have Alhaj. Hello. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Love you too. Thank you for watching. Oh, you're welcome for sharing, Sabria. It's challenging for me because I'm not used to talking about, those stories. But thank you for your continued encouragement. And thank you to you for sharing your stories and being so open, because you are one of the people who has inspired me to share stories as well. So thank you to you. For those of you, Sabria Dobbin, she's the owner of Project Passport, which is a Black-owned retreat and wellness company. Support her, project-passport.com. Love the work that she's doing. She's doing some really, really amazing, uplifting, and enlightening work, especially in light of everything that's going on. Grab you one of her retreats if you can, her virtual retreats if you can, because they are awesome. I love the work that she's doing. So guys, this is the end of our time. I hope this probably ran a little bit longer than I really wanted it to today, but I hope me sharing my stories will encourage others to keep sharing, and let's keep the conversation going, because it makes no sense for any of us to be in a vacuum right now, especially right now. It's important for us to be talking about this, enlightening others about our experiences and what is happening to us on a daily basis as Black people, okay? There are so many people who have no idea what we go through. And that, in my eyes, isn't right. It's not right for us to be suffering in silence, for us to be going through these experiences in silence. We can talk about it. That's what we as humans are. We can talk and understand and empathize these things. So I encourage you to share your stories as well. Would love to have more comments from you about my stories that I shared today. And I'm going to end up with a little bit of music because I ran way over, but happy Friday, guys. Reminder, share your stories. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday. And have a good weekend, guys. Do something for some space, reflection, enjoyment this weekend. And as always, till the next line, take care of yourselves, everyone.